Okay, great. We seem to be live. And yeah, welcome to our first attendees. Welcome to the special webinar from the series of the subject webinars. And my name is Georgi. As always, I'm mostly behind the scenes and the least interesting person for you during these webinars. And as we always do during these webinars, fortunately, I'm not alone. We have some guests from German universities who will present their special and unique study programs to you. And yeah, today's umbrella topic, as you already know, is study energy engineering in Germany. So I prepared a short presentation from my side. Let me do it quickly for you, and then we will hand it over to our guests. But just a small comment regarding how we should proceed. You can see the Q&A button just next to the chat. So this is the main communication line between you and us. You can send the Q&A, your questions, starting from right now, actually, until the very end of the webinar. We will take down your questions will be monitored, and then they will be answered live by one of our guests after the presentations are done. So in around, let's say, 40 minutes. That's why my suggestion would be to stay tuned. Also, keep an eye on the chat because we'll send some interesting information for you as well. So that being said, let me now jump into our agenda for today. We have guests from 2 German universities, but we will talk about 3 programs. So we have a guest from Hochschule Stralsund, so Professor Dr. Michael Bierhoff, and he will talk about master's level program in renewable energy and e-mobility, and he will be assisted by our guest Caroline Neumann. And then we will move to Hochschule Ravensburg-Weingarten, Professor Dr. Markus Pfeil, and he will present 2 programs, both on bachelor level, one in e-mobility and green energy, then another one in electrical engineering and information technology. Very interesting topics, and that's why I will try to make my presentation shorter. So who is behind today's webinar? It is My German University, and we are Germany's largest database when it comes to English taught study programs. We have over 2,600 degree programs, bachelor level, also master's level, listed in our database. We also have some short courses and language courses as well. And our main goal is to help international students who are interested in, for example, pursuing their bachelor's or master's studies, let's say, in Germany. And we do this through 3 key ways. One of them is through our study finders, through our database. And when you go to our website, which stands at mygermanuniversity.com, and you go to the Study Finder section in the top left corner, you will be able to see the full version of Study Finder with all of its filters, which makes your search for the right program much easier and time efficient. The second way of helping you is through writing up articles. We have over 150 articles, quite comprehensive articles on various topics about studying in Germany. It can be letter of motivation writing, it can be dual programs, bachelor studies, Studienkolleg, APS, and so on and so forth. Please take a look. They are all for free. And last but not least, the third way of helping you is through organizing webinars, of course, regarding studying in Germany. We have general webinars like studying in Germany or scholarships in Germany, Uni Assist, Visa, and so on and so forth. And we also have subject webinars like the one that you're attending right now, but on different subjects. So we have webinars on, let's say, engineering, energy engineering in Germany, or studying European studies in Germany, studying physics and mathematics in Germany, and so on and so forth. All of the webinars that are already planned, you can find them on our webpage of the webinars, and you can sign up for these webinars for free and attend them, of course, for free. And our team is quite international. We are based in northern Germany, in Hamburg, but we are also all over Germany and all over the world. That's why we are counseling in various languages. So for those who are also interested in German taught study programs, I would also suggest you to check out Hochschulkompass. There you might find some interesting programs in this discipline of energy engineering. But if you are more into English taught study programs, or mostly English taught study programs, then I would suggest My German University Study Finder. Definitely. We have lots of programs related to the subject of energy engineering here, both on bachelor's level and master's level. And many of them, you can see, are in English only, which means that for that particular programs, you do not need any knowledge of German to get into these programs and to successfully complete them in most cases. But of course, learning German, it's always a good idea, especially when you're in Germany. So For the newcomers who do not know what to expect when it comes to studying energy engineering in Germany, we also have special subject pages for each subject that we are talking about. So it's a nice first step to create an idea for yourself. What are the rankings of universities that are offering, for example, studies in this discipline, or what are the tuition fee ranges that you should expect, or what are different requirements that you should be ready for if you want to get into one of those programs. So we provide this kind of generic information for you to have a bigger picture. And yeah, as I said, it's a nice first step for the newcomers. Finding or searching for the right university profile and study program, it's a crucial point towards your success, of course. And that's why you should not take into account only a single aspect or two when you are finding and choosing the program, right? Yes, fees, rankings, names, and cities are important. They might be important for some, too many, very important for others, not that much, but you should and you can take this all into account and even much more if you want to make an informed decision, right? And to make a right choice and the right first step towards your successful studies and towards your successful career. Also, what I would like to say that in Germany, there are two key types of universities. One is Universität type of university. Another one in English, it's called University of Applied Sciences. In German, it has some different variations. Hochschule is one of them also. And the key difference between these two universities on a general level is in focus. So when we are talking about Universität type of university, we are more onto research and theory. And in case of the University of Applied Sciences, we are moving towards more onto application and practice. So for now, this is the key difference that I would like you to know about. And last but not least, in addition to the aspects that we mentioned before that you should take into account if you want to make a right choice when choosing the study programs. Also, when you are searching for the programs on our study finder, be a bit flexible with wordings. Don't be too strict. And when you do that, you will make sure that you are aware of all of the opportunities that Germany is able to offer you that fits you well. And then you'll drastically increase your chances of making the right choice and making prospects for your successful future much, much, much brighter. That being said, let us now move to even Northern of Germany, which does not happen that frequently during our webinars. So we are moving to University of Applied Sciences Stralsund, and we have Professor Dr. Michael Bierhoff, and he will now present master's level program in renewable energy and in mobility. So I will stop my screen share and invite Professor to take the floor.
Thanks, Georgi, for that kind introduction. Let me share my screen first of all. Hopefully I would find the correct screen here. That should be the one. Okay. Now you should be able to see the full screen.
Yes.
Let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Michael Bierhoff. I'm a lecturer for power electronics and electrical drives here at the University of Stralsund for about 12 years by now. Well, and what I would like to present to you today is actually our University of Applied Sciences. What you can see here is a prominent building that you would find directly as you approach our premises. That's the building where all the the electrical engineering science is located. Regarding the other one, or the different pictures that you can see here, I will mention later on. Well, first of all, where are we located basically? In the most northeastern tip of Germany, you would find us pretty close to the island of Rügen, which is the largest island of Germany, as you can see here. So that is at the same time, as you may imagine at that point already, a high recreation of a high interest regarding tourism as well. Well, and here you would find Stralsund. Here is just some impressions of the Stralsund docks. And what are we actually teaching here? I mean, what are the different faculties? You would find them here on this little tour map. So we've got business science right in the front here. Then we've got mechanical engineering. And then, so you can see here the laboratories of the mechanical engineering lecture halls. Here you would see the building number 4 that you previously could see on this photograph. So that is electrical engineering, computer science. Here's administration, and here's some other labs. What is quite striking about Stralsund, so it's all next door. So you would find the refectory, the canteen here, and then very interesting, here's some students' housing. So you can actually have your accommodation right on site. And what you can see here, the strait is the actually so-called 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘥𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘱. It is actually the strait that is separating the mainland from our largest island in Germany, as I told you. So you find on the horizon. So it's a lovely scenery. You can have a look right onto that strait, looking over that strait onto the island of Rügen, right from our lecture halls. So that is, well, if you would ask me, quite a cute campus. And here's just some key facts. So it's a young university. So it was founded in 1991, and it now gives actually home to more than 2,000 students. So it is varying between 2,000 and 3,000 students. So currently it's 2,200. And as already mentioned, we've got 3 faculties for electrical engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering, and the business studies. So regarding research, Georgi just said, what does distinguish us from the university type is basically that we are rather applied science oriented, and there's less of research, but anyhow, I mean, there is, and here's just to name a few: renewable energies and communication networks, also telemetric health systems, and applied mechanics, and just to name a few. There's definitely even more also with regard to the other faculties. So here just a list. Now I'm being on the electrical engineering computer science faculty. Here is just a short list of laboratories that we can actually boast with. Regarding my part, of course, there's electrical drives, but there's also automation, control engineering, higher voltage and power engineering. So you can see everything that is required for energy engineering is also located here, but also laser technology, just to name a few. Well, talking amongst others, definitely with special regards about renewable energy and e-mobility, which you would find here as we approach our master programs. But there's also electrical engineering, medical engineering systems, and informatics. These ones are German study courses. So the only English master study course would be the renewable energy. Oh, and there's a typo. I'm very sorry for that. Energy and e-mobility study course, which I will be dedicatedly present now. Well, but first of all, just to mention also our bachelor programs, but these are all Germans. There's also renewable and then we've got some computer science courses there as well, IT security and mobile systems, of course, electrical engineering as well, and medical information management. But these are still all German taught bachelor courses. Okay, now as we have the special focus on the renewable energy and e-mobility study course, I shall just explain details about that study course. So it will always start at each summer and winter semester. So you're able to enroll summer as well as winter semesters. The duration of that study will be either 3 or 4 semesters. So that really well, that strongly depends on your first degree. So basically, it's just a question on how many ECTS you will bring along, because in the end, you have to complete a total of 210 ECTS, and if you cannot prove any practical experiences in advance, then you're obliged to add internship semester. You have to complete some more modules, as I will tell you, or as I will explain to you right now. So the final degree will be Master of Engineering, and as I told you, that's one of our English-speaking master study courses. It is also accredited, and well, specializations will be, of course, renewable energy and e-mobility. So talking about the different curricula that you will find, so in case that you have ECTS from your first bachelor's course, or you can prove some practical experience, like professional work prior to applying with us, then you can opt for this 3-semester study course. And then there's some compulsory courses like modeling of physical system theory. Then we've got renewable energy systems, power electronics, and methods of power engineering. But then there is also a lot of elective modules and elective courses, which I should show to you on one of the next slides. And then third semester is going to be the master thesis with a colloquium. In case that you won't bring along sufficient ECTS, then you've got the possibility to upgrade throughout your master thesis or your master course studies, sorry. And that would include some additional third semester where you have to either opt for some additional elective modules and some project work, or you can just go for an additional internship semester, which is the option because there's a good possibility to already get, well, let's say a step into the professional work. And usually these students would apply with some industry companies, which in the next step would directly lead to the master thesis, and finally maybe a long-term position. Okay, 4 semesters. Well, I already explained that to you. That means additional modules to be taken during the third semester. So that is 3 elective modules, 1 project work, or you would just opt for some additional internship semester. Okay, what are the other subjects that were hidden behind these elective modules? Well, we've got current subjects of renewable energy. Then we've got wind power plants. We've got solar systems. We've got some project work, hydrogen technology, which is a dominant topic here at our university. We're doing some research on hydrogen, definitely as well. Then fuel cell systems. As we talk about hydrogen, then we have to talk about fuel cells as well. Sustainable non-fossil mobility, advanced power electronics, control of electrical drives, which is definitely also a very important item when it comes to the new energy and mobility transition. Then we've got vehicle management systems and vehicle simulation and test drive. So these are both, I mean, the last ones quite some topics that are very often chosen by the students. And then we've got some non-application oriented topics, subjects, as we call them. So there is selected topics of control engineering, international accounting, and for sure, which could be also an option for you to learn some German right on campus, right on site with our university. Well, the internship, I already told you, will be at least 21 weeks. So that is embedded within the third semester. And you would apply with some professional company, some industrial company, which is usually a good occasion to get a step into your professional working life, because subsequently, following thereafter, you would usually go for your final thesis project, and most of the time the students will get a contract thereafter right away. Well, exemption, as I told you, just in the case that you would already had some professional life before coming to our place, like if you were already professionally working, or you had some other, let's say, practical experience, which you can prove, then you get exempted from that. Okay, let me just quickly show you some images about our research and projects. So we've got also some student projects. For example, we've got the Tiger Racing team. So these guys have been constructing a racing car, which is which is very, very efficient in terms of fuel consumption. So that one is actually working on, or it is driving on hydrogen, and it is actually as efficient as compared to conventional combustion engines. That with that comparison, it would go about above than 1,000 kilometers on the energy equivalent of 1 liter of gasoline. So this efficiency made us European champion in 2017, 18, 19, 22, and 23. And well, that student project obviously is quite successful. So then we've got other student projects. So we've got the Maritime Racing, we've got the Baltic Racing team. So they're still conventional combustion engine racing teams, but they're undergoing a certain transition to e-mobility as well currently. Here's some images about the research that is currently ongoing within our laboratories. So with special regard here on power electronics and electrical drives. As you may already imagine here. So what you see here is, for example, one impression from our drives laboratory. So this is actually linear drive, quite interesting. So what you see here is some inverter. So that is a student's project, as well as this one. So this is a e-mobile. So that is an electric propulsion racing car. And here, what we would find here on the bottom left-hand side is just a conventional test rig for some electrical drives. And this is quite interesting. This is actually all so-called hybrid energy storage. So that is not only a battery storage that we are connecting right to the grid in order to operate it as an active power filter. It is actually a hybrid energy storage. You can see here some double layer capacitors, and here's the lithium-ion battery modules. Okay, so this well is yet another sketch that I would show to people when it comes to the application of power electronics, as it supports the energy transition and the renewable energy conversion into the grid. Okay, and if we talk about renewables, we also have to talk about storages. And as I told you, hydrogen is also a a key figure here. And I also told you that there's some colleagues that are doing pretty much on hydrogen storage. And also, so we at our university on site, we would also have a hydrogen filling station. And what is not given here is definitely other conversion processes from hydrogen to methanol as well. So there's a lot of research also with that regard ongoing currently. And here's just the contact details. So if you're interested, you're cordially welcome just to send us your application documents, or in case that you have questions, you're welcome to send us, to drop us a line. Thanks for your attention.
Hey, great. Thank you very much, Professor, for your presentation. And yeah, the emails are also in the chat, dear attendees. Just for your convenience, you can take a look at them. And with that being said, let us now move to our next presentation. Let me share the screen with you. Now it's very interesting. If you look at geographically, we are moving now to the very, very south of Germany. It's a very interesting case today. And we are moving to Ravensburg-Weingarten University of Applied Sciences. And we will talk, we have Professor Dr. Markus Pfeil, and now he will talk about 2 bachelor level programs, one in e-mobility and green energy, as I mentioned before, and one in electrical engineering and information technology. Please, Professor, the floor is yours.
Okay, is my screen visible, Georgie?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, then thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. As you have already said, I come from Ravensburg or Weingarten. I'm in Meersburg, but Ravensburg-Weingarten is a university that sort of spans 2 cities. We're in the very far south of Germany. Still, we have students that are either from 50 kilometers around us or from more than 500 kilometers away. So we cater to either very local students or to very international students. We encompass 31 study programs in engineering, IT and business, social work and healthcare, with currently around 3,600 students, roughly. So we're still a small university, but we have some people. We started to offer programs for international students quite a while ago, and we have continuously striven to elevate the levels of internationality at the campus. We currently teach electrical engineering, e-mobility, physical engineering, embedded systems and mechatronics on the master level in English. And we have a lot of exchange students in all kinds of programs. And I say a little bit about how we integrate this when I look into the actual study courses. We're just one campus with very short distances. If you calculate it on the previous slides, we have one professor for about 35 students. So we have a very good support ratio. And we're sitting very nice and quiet on the outskirts of Ravensburg, which is in and of itself not a very large town. So it's very quiet. We're very well networked in the south of Germany and what is called the DACH region, Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, with Liechtenstein going on as well. So we have a lot of cooperation with universities around us and around the Lake of Constance. So if there is an interest from students to go and visit other parts of the south and do a semester in a different university, we have very good cooperational network there. We also have a very good cooperation with companies. We have a compulsory practical semester in the bachelor. We have a number of endowed professorships that are closely linked to specific companies, and therefore we also have a lot of scholarships that we can offer. And we do have a very good link to those companies for any thesis work that you might want to do, or for any continuing job offer that you might be looking for. So who are we cooperating with? The ones that, because it's e-mobility and electrical engineering, the programs I'll be talking about, there is a lot of mobility companies, so all the big German automotive suppliers. have students from us. IFM is an automation supplier that has a very good support for students. And then there is aerospace with Rolls-Royce and Airbus as well, 𝘱𝘢𝘪𝘳𝘳 Aerospace. So we have a lot of big companies around us that that we work closely with and that students can use for their practicums and for their thesis work that goes on. Now, I said, who is the university? Who am I? Markus Pfeil is my name. I'm the Dean of Studies in Electrical Engineering and IT, and as well as in e-mobility and renewable energies. I'm also commissioned by the Senate to get the university climate neutral by 2030. We shall see about that. There's certainly a bigger chance of acquiring some new students than achieving that. But anyway, I'm teaching metrology, real-time programming, and embedded computing also in the master course, just so you have an idea of who is talking to you. Who are we looking for when we're talking about e-mobility or electrical engineering? I'll shorten the two descriptions to that. We have a very broad professional field. Both courses of study lend themselves to do basic electrical engineering stuff. So do development of boards, development of hardware, development of embedded software. You might be soldering and programming if you go into that direction. We have a lot of students that go into the manufacturing domain, i.e. that look into how to optimize processes to manufacture electrical engineering, electrical equipment, or parts and control boxes for the automotive industry, for example. We have a lot of students that go into commissioning, i.e. Test driving stuff, or generally testing and corresponding with test installations and then redoing programs and optimizing and stuff. Testing, generally, test engineers are very much sought after. We look for people in distribution as well, so that you could have some management sitting on top of that. Then you wouldn't have to do any of the hardcore engineering, but you still should know about it. So there is a very broad idea of the job profile that we are trying to address with these two courses. In the automotive, energy suppliers, aerospace, a long list. As you can see by that, there is a lot of room for specialization in those courses, and we'll see about that when we look a little bit into the specific subjects that we're going to talk about. The course profile for the English-speaking students, enrollment is always in summer semester. We teach the course in German and in English, so it's taught twice a year. Summer semester, we start with the English-speaking students, in the winter semester with the German-speaking students. Which means you can only enroll for the summer semester, but the advantage is that if you ever have to move a subject from one semester to the next, it will be taught. It will be taught in German, but after a while, that will not be a hindrance. So you could also at least take part in an exam. Those are typically offered bilingual in the other semester. It's 210 credits, 7 semesters, including 1 internship semester. The internship is mandatory. And the degree that you will getting is a Bachelor of Engineering. In the summer semester, we have 25 places available for both courses. And the application is typically till mid-November to do that. I'll talk a little bit about problems that might arise and how we could solve those. So how does the course generally look like? This is the truth for both of those courses, electrical engineering and e-mobility. We have 2 semesters basic studies. Basically, you do maths, electrical engineering, a bit of physics, and basic lab stuff. Soldering, a bit of circuit work, and measuring stuff is the first 2 semesters. Semesters 3 and 4 are then deeper into the theory. Here we start to grow apart in the between e-mobility and electrical engineering, because one is going deeper into the electrical engineering theory. The other course is then moving more also into how do I build a car. And you have the first elective subject typically. Then comes the 5th and the practical semester, which we put in this place because by now you should have enough understanding of your subject that you actually can do some real and applied work in the company. So you're a real help to them. And you can also start to work out a job profile for yourself. So you can try and see what is it that you actually want to do. Do you want to program control boxes? Do you want to develop PCBs for aerospace? Do you want whatever you want to do? Because then it is a good idea to look at this practical semester as a preparation for what you want to do as a thesis later on. A lot of students do a practical semester within a company, then return for the 6th semester to do their special subject at university, but at the same time continue to work as a student employee for a company, and then do the bachelor thesis at the same company because they already know the place, they are already known, and then they actually have a very good chance of also continuing work in the company. So that's quite a common practice. So 6th semester, then obviously there is a number of specialty subjects and profiles that you can choose from, where you just have some flexibility in do I want to do more communication stuff? Do I want to do autonomous driving? Or do you want to go into FPGA programming, for example? That's stuff that you can then decide on. Now we're going to be looking at the module overview for the 2 courses. As I said, I'm doing the presentation for both courses at once. All up to now has been true for both courses. Now we're going to split the next 2 slides between electrical engineering, IT, and e-mobility. And you will see what I've been saying previously, that we have in the first 2 semesters a lot of basics: electrical engineering 1, 2, maths 1, 2, 3, metrology, digital technology, physics, programming. That's what you do as a baseline for electrical engineering and IT. Why are we doing it this way? Because the jobs that we want to make you fit for just demand that you will have an electrical appliance or an electrical system that has a programmable component. So you need to be able to talk to both of those sides. That's why that's the absolute basics. Then in 3 and 4, in electrical engineering, we look more into the theory, into Laplace and Fourier transformations, into robotics, into more deeply into electronics, and also into power electronics. And on the IT side, we basically here have a seminar that goes in there where you can do some programming stuff at the communication technology, which is an internet-based stuff, and then we're ready basically for the internship. And then we go a little bit into the specialization: digital signal processing with the lab, microcontroller with the lab, high frequency with the lab, and then we have study focus modules and seminar work, which basically is something that you can choose what to do then. In the 7th semester, there is the thesis, and as you can see, the thesis in our curriculum is only 12 credits. Therefore, you still have space to do stuff in the 7th semester. There is another study focus module there, and there is a control engineering and automation. So if you're done with this course, you can basically fill all the job profiles that I have given you previously. You can build an automation system, you can build a coffee machine, or whatever you like. It's a broad area of study, which also means that you have to choose careful what you want to do in your study focus modules. You can also see that basically you have 20 credits of free options, which is not too much because it's already very wide. Now, how does the e-mobility course contrast to that? I didn't get the zoom right, so it jumps in size, but otherwise you can see that the first 2 semesters almost identically. We have material sciences, automotive engineering instead of a bit of programming, because obviously for e-mobility, you should know how a car works, basically, or how an e-bike works, and therefore we go into that area. And then as well in the 3rd and 4th, you have automotive engineering practical, you have powertrain engineering, and you have machinery design, which basically gives you a bit of the mechanical skills that you might need to integrate a motor or a drive shaft or some gear or some high voltage stuff. Then the internships, the same thing. And then in the 6th and 7th, you have image processing, And in the study focus courses, you have the option more to go into autonomous driving. You have more options for energy storage, for photovoltaics, for batteries. The green energies and energy storage is just the basics about everything. One thing that we offer as a study focus here that's very important, and I don't know why we don't have it as a compulsory subject, but my colleagues don't want it. There is, we offer a high voltage certification as one of the study focus subjects, so you can actually get a certificate in working on high voltage systems up to level 2, i.e. you're allowed to set the system without power, and then you're allowed to work on it. And that's actually a very useful subject because it basically replaces an industry course that you might have to take, and that's really a very good incentive for companies to look closer at your biography if you come on with that. So that's the two module overviews that we have. You can also find those on the webpage if you want to have a closer look and you want to look into the study module handbook to see what exactly is behind all that. Work examples, what have students built in a hybrid vehicle, for example. So we're working on high voltage wiring harnesses. We're working on the power electronics. That's parts that student projects have gone in. We work on charging efficiency as well. We do have some work related to the engine. In this case, that's because it's a hybrid, that's a regular engine. We also have a combustion engine department, so you can do both. We're talking about specific systems that you can do if you have a high voltage system that are usually tied to the combustion engine, like the air conditioning, like the brake booster and stuff like that. We're working actively on battery cooling. That's a research area that we have, and also on commissioning our own high voltage battery modules, basically just because we want to have them for our own research. But that's examples of work on a hybrid vehicle that we look into. Now, on the electrical engineering side, I picked something completely different. We have a very good connection to the medical field in Tuttlingen, where there is a lot of people working in the medical area, and there's people doing research in pacemakers, for example, where you have very small electronics, very high reliability stuff, and that's also places where students are doing work and where colleagues are doing research. I want to give you a couple of job profiles that we have specifically catered for in conjunction with industry. Control unit developers are people that are sought after by Liebherr, by ZF, by Rolls-Royce, by other people. So you do development of embedded software for automotive control units. You need to do specification of software. You need to do estimation of the software lifecycle. You need to develop actual software, mostly C, C++, also a bit of Python we do. You need to do the associated testing. And that's a typical job profile that people work in after they completed one of the two courses. Now, interestingly enough, you can do control boxes for automotive. You can do them for aerospace, or you can do them for automation. So that's a generic profile, but it's sought after by basically all the companies. You can do the same thing in hardware. That is much more sought after. If you have an interest in soldering and PCB design, that's something that's very much looked for at the moment. Designing digital and analog circuits, specification of tests, and especially doing hardware in the loop tests and simulations, ensuring the traceability and documentation. That's something that's also a profile that's very much looked for, that will be catered by one of the two courses that I just showed you. Firmware is a third type of thing that's somewhere in the middle. It's not the software and it's not the hardware, but it's actually what the control units see when they start up. And that's a very big market in the south of Germany. People want to do over-the-air updates of things. They want to have automated change in software if the user presses a button. Stuff like that is dealt with by the firmware. And there you actually do complete development of small prototypes for research projects, so you can demonstrate how things work. And that's also something that I have done with students. Newest FPGA generation for aerospace, and one of our students was able to work on that. So there is very interesting stuff in here. We're at the Lake Constance, so we're one of the few places where you can actually see a Zeppelin in the air live. We actually have 2 of them over the lake, and I cannot quite match the views that have been shown by Stralsund, unfortunately, but we have some nice views of our own. That's the Weingarten Basilica, and agreed with a very strong zoom lens, we've managed to capture the Alps behind it. But that's what I would have to say with respect to us and those 2 courses. I think it's a very modular, very flexible program with a lot of prospect. We're sitting in a nice place. You'll find all the information on the RWU website and with Georgi as well. And thank you for your attention, and I'll be open for any questions later on.
Hey, great. Thank you very much, Professor. Another very nice presentation. And yeah, my suggestion would be, let's jump into the Q&A immediately, because there are quite a lot of questions also still open. And also thanks for Professor Birchhoff for taking care of so many questions already. All right, so let me start with a question for Professor Pfeil. Professor, based on which criteria do you choose those 25 students when you have, let's say, 100 applications?
100 would be nice. So the criteria are, I guess, pretty much standard. We get the applications, we sort them according to average grade. We place a particular emphasis if there is indecision between the grades on the math skills, because that's just something that we find helps students a lot. We also look into how much experience you had in terms of programming and in electrical engineering. But if you come directly from school, you're in the same boat with everyone. And then as a third thing, I personally read every cover letter that I get. And if I have a lot of people that are in the same grade range, I also look into the motivation that comes with the students. But basically, the numbers that we crunch first is your average grade and your maths in specific.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And Professor Birchhoff has just also addressed this question. Could you once again repeat for the wider audience? So there was a question regarding the limit of students per intake. So I would reformulate this question and ask you, what is usually the average class sizes that you have for this program? Oh, sorry, Professor, we lost you for a second.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, there is no hard limit like these 25 positions that we would find there with our colleagues, where usually we've got an admission of, say, 80 students roughly. And then experience shows that there's just only half of that showing up, right? So we've got basically, let's say, a soft limit of in between 40 and 60. Okay, clear. Thank you. All right. So, yes, Professor Pfeil, I would exactly wanted to ask this question that you are replying to now. It's an interesting question. So, regarding the e-mobility bachelor's program, is it fully in English, or are there any German taught courses when students go farther into the semesters? Any surprises, in other words?
Yes, there will be always surprises, nice surprises. Now, what we typically do, the course is taught fully in English up to the 6th semester, so 5th including, and from the 6th and 7th semester courses, you would be required to accept German courses. Yet most of them are still taught in English. There is one or two, like wissenschaftliches Arbeiten, scientific work, which is only offered in German in terms of the first 2 or 3 lectures, but the seminar that you have to write and present can be done in English. So yes, there will be a little bit of German in the 6th and 7th semesters, but it's not much. And I actually haven't seen one student yet that had issues with that, because if there is really problems, all the lecturers speak English, so you can always ask an English question. But yes, theoretically, in 6th and 7th, you're required to also attend German courses if there is no English equivalent.
Okay, clear. Thank you very much. Another interesting question, and I think important one that everyone should know for Stralsund was, dear professor, on your site, it says that I need to submit motivation letter if my GPA is worse than 1.8. I want to ask, should I submit it right away, or will you evaluate first if I have any chance at all, and then follow with motivation letter? So professor provided an answer, and I would like him to repeat it once again, because it's important not to have any confusions in terms of applications. You are muted, professor.
Yeah, sure. So I will to submit right away, because that's going to speed up the entire process. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you should send students as many documents, required ones, as possible in once. So this is the general question I would like to quickly address. Can I apply without APS? So if you are from India, China, Vietnam, for example, you cannot apply without APS. It doesn't have to do anything with RWU or Stralsund. It has to do with the German embassy or consulate in your country. So it's a formal requirement in this regard. So you have to apply with the APS. You have to submit, take the APS certificate to get your visa. Okay. So next question is for Professor Pfeil. When under some courses you have practical course mentioned, written, could you elaborate more on what exactly does that mean? Thanks.
Yes, so that means that the course is both lecture and laboratory. So typically that's integrated in a fashion that either you have one session of lecture and one session of lab afterwards, or in some cases the lecture, like in CAD, the lecture actually is done in front of the computer and you're required to work on a problem while the lecture goes on. So practical course always means that there is a strong focus on you doing something rather than just listening to something. And that might be soldering, that might be putting electrical equipment together, it might be programming, or it might be drawing in the case of CAD, for example. So you can see that is the case for a lot of courses. So we actually have a very strong focus on you applying what you learn during the course as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, Professor Bierhoff, there are two questions related to each other, and let me read them both for you. Thank you for your reply. I'd love to apply for your program, but I have the fear that as my bachelor's GPA is a bit low, I might receive a rejection. How can I make sure that I meet the requirements of your program? I did a very good job in my PhD program, 3.8 out of 4 GPA, and I have 11 co-authored peer-reviewed papers. And the second question is, my GPA is around 3.0. Can I apply for Masters in Engineering Renewable program? And yeah, my guess is 3.0 is according to your system or according to German system. This is also important to make a note, because 3.0 out of 4 in your system, it's fine. 3.0 in German way, it's not that good. But yeah, please specify while we are answering this question.
Well, we leave it open, and it then would really strongly depend on the cover letter. So if you would provide some extra achievements, like for example, you would already boast with of publications, but some articles published somewhere, then put it into your cover letter, and that can make the difference. So I know this is a non-satisfying answer, but I mean, that is why we are offering that option, that via the cover letter, there is still the possibility to access. Well, but as Georgi just said, above 3.0, it has to be something that you can provide beyond, well, let's say, the usual application documents.
Okay, great. Thank you. And just for your note, dear attendees, I put also the GPA conversion in the chat and also ECTS conversion. There was a question regarding that. Please make a good use of it also to approximately know where you do stand at. All right. So question for Professor Bierhoff. And once again, is there any skills like programming, MATLAB, etc. we need to have before starting the masters in renewable energy? Thank you.
No, not really. So you're going to learn that on site. Okay. Because if you would ask me, it is actually not the purpose to learn MATLAB. So you will apply MATLAB as an, let's say, important tool to solve certain problems that we're going to present to you. And then on doing so, you would automatically learn, or you would acquire some skills on MATLAB. So you don't have to bring it along right away.
Okay, clear. Thank you very much. Now a question for Professor Pfeil. The question is, I am in the 11th grade. Still, I try to find my future bachelor's in Germany. I want to apply to RWU. But I want to know, is it mainly self-study during the whole course? I just have friends in Germany who did masters and they say it is very few guidance and mainly they have to understand and analyze everything themselves.
No. That's quite clear. There is a bit of self-study involved in everything, but generally there is a lot of courses that are fully taught, i.e. you have everything explained and then you get some exercises and the exercises are again walked through with the professor. Courses that need a lot of studying or a lot of repetition like maths offer tutorials where you have an extra tutor who's going through you with through problems. In my cases, for all the professors in my two study programs offer office hours where you can come for questions and in order to get answers. You typically do get scripts as a backup for being in the lecture, but if you attend the lecture, then you just have to rework a little bit what you have heard in the lecture, have to compose the information for yourself, but there should not be a significant amount of self-study involved.
Okay, clear. Let me stay with you for a second, Professor. There was a question regarding the possibility of aptitude tests, and you said something interesting. Could you please repeat it once again?
Yeah, so generally we do not have aptitude tests. So you apply and we will judge the entry based on your application. However, there is the case in some instances where applicants have 12 years of school and there is a certain visa situation that we have to conduct interviews. But that's not an aptitude test. That's just a short interview that would inform us whether you generally have completed school satisfactorily, and we can get a feeling whether you would be able to do that. So that's a 5 to 10 minute interview that we just have to do in certain formal circumstances. But other than that, no, we don't. And that is not something where we say, okay, with this interview, you now have boosted your grade by 0.5 or something. We select the students we would like to admit, and then we have to conduct interviews with those to see if that will work. We think it will work, and then we can admit you.
Okay, clear, perfect. Professor Bierhoff, I'm getting back to you. Yeah, this GPA question is something a very hot topic today. If someone has lower than 2.3 grade in bachelor's, can they submit GRE scores to buff their profile, or would such applications be automatically rejected?
No, you have to explain to me what are GRE credits?
So GRE is like a standardized test for maths, for example. It's done for this kind of technical subjects, which shows that students know well these kind of subjects.
Okay. Well, yet again, I have to repeat myself. Then just add it to the cover letter and thoroughly explain what your achievements currently are. And then we're going to decide on that. So there is currently no clear answer. And I tried to answer that question about the limited intake already. That of course physically that there will be a limitation, but still we're not complete. So looking at the ongoing semester, the winter semester, we could have enrolled a number of students more. So there is the chance, if you can state clearly what your achievements are so far, that you will get admission.
Okay. So dear attendees, you should spend quite a intensive time on also writing up a very nice cover letter, motivation letter, because you can see that it matters quite a lot, especially in this case. So Professor Pfeil, is it possible to participate in Erasmus exchange programs while on your program?
Yes, that's possible. We have quite an intense Erasmus program. We encourage students to explore that, also to explore as I said, the partner universities we have around the lake, which is already 2 other countries, but also other programs. You just have to follow the procedures there, and there is some things that work better and some things that work not so well, but generally we encourage students to do that. We also like to encourage students that only come for an Erasmus year to then come back later and stay with us. So that's also another option, people coming with Erasmus and then staying afterwards. So all of that we support as well as we can. And obviously you have to see where you want to go and what is available in terms of programs, but yes.
Okay, perfect. Professor Bierhoff, last question for you also. When it was mentioned the options, 4 semester options, either internship or this project work, etc. Is there any specific deadline when students have to choose one path or another path, or they're flexible, or to what degree they are flexible in this regard?
Well, I think there is a deadline in terms of lead time that you need to acquire corresponding positions with industry. So the experience is basically that actually the best option would be the internship, and the other one is just a fallback, because most of the students that didn't manage by time just to get a position somewhere with an industry company, they then just choose this fallback option, and they have to just do some more courses and some practical projects with some of my colleagues, or well, basically generally spoken at the university. So that there is no deadline from our side, but sooner or later you have to come up with the corresponding credit points. Well, that is a final deadline, right? But usually you have to make sure that you get that position with some industry cooperation, I think. So that is the main program here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Professor Pfeil, would you like me to read out this question that you have been just answering? Maybe you could repeat. So if the students have studied an English study program.
We need a current assessment of your English skills, and actually I can't say what exactly counts. So you need an assessment, and if you can get that from your university, that you have taken a course that would certify your B2 English, then I guess that's a possibility to do it via some, I mean, in our university we do that. So we have a language center, and they would let you write a short test asserting that you have B2, and that would be okay for us then. So we need some kind of assessment. If you have a question for that, just email our enrollment department. They'll be happy to give you all the options that you have, but we will need some piece of writing with respect to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and great. So Aidar, these are the very general information that you are providing. In order to be able to answer the questions, please specify more regarding your background, because these kind of general answers are a bit difficult, you can also drop us an email and we will help you out to find out. And last thing that I would like to address from myself, there was a message question that there are rumors that there are fees in German public universities. So I would like to say no, there are no tuition fees, although professor said that nothing is free in life and he faced you with a harsh reality. Yes, tuition fees are there, no tuition fees. And even more, I would like to tell you that even in Baden-Württemberg, which is known that for non-EU students, it charges some tuition fees. There are also rumors, positive rumors, that they will also get away of these fees. But in general, yeah, no tuition fees, but professor also told you that there are administrative fees. Also, they are different depending on where you are studying, but they are really small ones. So, all right, great, amazing, very nice. We had very nice presentations and amazing Q&A section. Thank you very much to everyone, to our speakers. Also, Caroline, thank you very much also for participating in the written Q&A session. It helped us a lot. And dear attendees, if you have questions, specific questions to one of the programs, please get in touch immediately directly with them. You have the emails, and you will also receive from us presentations as soon as we receive, and then you can get in touch with the speakers or with another representatives and clarify your doubts. If you have any general questions regarding studying in Germany, for example, like I saw some visa questions, or let's say there's uni-assist questions, etc., please get in touch with us. And if you also would like to leave us feedback for today's webinar, you can always do that also using our Facebook or Google pages. The links are in the chat. Once again, thank you to everyone, to our guests and to our attendees for your activity. And I wish you a very nice rest of the day. And hopefully we'll see each other on our future webinars. Take care and bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.